And we have also been talking about strengthening the network, and the person that has the most experience with this CT Energy Network is Patrice. So I would like to hand it over to her for the next section.
Thanks, Deb. Everybody hear me okay? You may hear my Maine Coon cat complaining about something. But thank you, Deb. And I just wanted to provide some sort of historical context to the work of this group, this amazing group of energy network people. And so, you know, the organic beginnings of the CT Energy Network are really interesting, and it's a story of evolving ideas, good ideas. We can credit the collective vision in the latter part of the aughts, you know, like 2006, 2007, of three different groups: the Connecticut Clean Water Action nonprofit with national headquarters in DC, Smart Power, again another national organization, and the Connecticut Clean Energy Fund, which was the predecessor of the Connecticut Green Bank. There's one person in this Zoom room who was especially influential in the forming of the network in its very beginnings, because Bob Wall worked for all three of those organizations. And he has helped me reconstruct some of the beginnings. People like Brooke Suter, Andy Bauer, who's been the chair of the Portland Clean Energy Task Force for a long time. Portland was one of the first clean energy task forces in this state. Ann Hulick, the director of Connecticut Clean Water Action, amazing woman. Melissa Everett, many of you remember the dynamic Miss Melissa, and others who were true pioneers in carrying out the vision of forming a force to be reckoned with, you know, to effect real change in the energy scene in Connecticut. So, and like Jean DeSmet mentioned, you know, we had to cajole our local town halls. We had to find local town officials who were supportive to create new local groups akin to the conservation commissions, for example, but that were exclusively dedicated to advancing 21st century energy. And, you know, many of us, even back then, were realizing that climate change is in fact an existential threat. So, and many of us came to be members of this network by circumstance. You know, I mean, let's just think for a minute, each of us, you know, how we might have become involved. You know, I started to panic when I was attending planning and zoning meetings in Ridgefield, because I saw on the horizon wholesale destruction of a beautiful warbler habitat. And we won, you know, the advocates for open space won, and there are almost 1,000 acres in Ridgefield that is now a state park, that are now a state park and not a golf course, and 700 townhouses far away from the center of town, you know. So it's funny how we all get involved, you know, that I got involved through land use, but it led, of course, to energy. So each of us became part of this group of groups, right? This group is comprised of several hundred concerned citizens who over the years have orchestrated the installations of thousands of solar arrays on schools, town buildings, residences, hopefully now parking lots, landfills. We have effected thousands of home energy audits across the state over the years. And some of us are now working on convincing our school boards to transition to electric school buses, you know, just for example. So here's my sign, okay? We are, I'm going to read this sign because I love it. We are a network of hundreds of local volunteer energy task force members who work on behalf of Connecticut cities and towns for sustainable energy performance and the inherent benefits to public health. one of Clean Water Action's national guiding principles is this: clean water is ultimately dependent on clean energy. So the CT Energy Network, managed by Clean Water Action's CT Field Office, works on implementing 21st century energy technology, programs, and policies, underlined there, with local volunteer expertise like yours to protect our environment for future generations. So, along with all of the actual projects that we've accomplished, we've become more and more adept at influencing our legislators and telling them what this state needs in order to survive in the way that we want it to. But basically, we're family. This is kind of a family. Some of us were quite active, for example, in the formation and the launch of Sustainable CT. The network, in fact, donated the original URL, sustainablecT.org, to Lynn Stoddard's group. And we are so happy that that awesome organization is doing so well. The CT Energy Network's groups have stayed connected with one another through thick and thin, mostly using a simple Google group listserv, to date, that's now 14 years old. In the archives of this Google listserv is every email ever exchanged among us for 14 years. And, the beauty of it is that it allows interactive conversations and the sharing of brain power, of resources, of lessons learned, and so much more. So if you're not a member of this Google group listserv, please email me. My email is under my picture, and I will add you, because it's such a great education. It's done so much to raise the level of energy literacy of hundreds of people in this state. So as many of you know, representatives from several dozen groups like yours have met in person in North Haven, a couple times a year. And now we meet several times a year, thanks to PACE, virtually, on topics that revolve around the transition away from fossil fuels. And the most important words are energy efficiency, efficiency first, right, and renewable energy. So that's our focal point. And so I've been wondering, how many megawatts of fossil fuel powered energy have been created by the people on this screen right now? I bet it is equal to the power that would have been generated by that canceled Killingly power plant. How many hundreds of megawatts of power, will not be needed in this state because of the work that many of you have done. It would be a huge project, but it would be great to sort of categorize the individual projects that have been done in each of these towns and add it up and just, sit in awe of that number. Let's see, I wanted to say just a couple more things. Well, in dollar figures, I said in the chat, my town's energy commission has done things in my town that have reduced energy expenditures by several millions of dollars. So that would pay for a lot of Michael Harris's and Catherine Deviney's. They're real financial benefits, but of course that's not the reason that we're doing all this. We're doing it for public health and to save our planet. So to ramp up this interconnectivity and the myriad benefits of our work, the data wizards at PACE, Deb, you're that person, have created some new tools for us, more new tools for us to use that will create a much larger and more effective crowd of concerned citizens who can fight, the existential threat of climate change. So Deb, can you present those tools to us?
Yeah, thank you, Patrice. Somebody's coming through. I don't know if I can find them and mute them somewhere. Yeah, Patrice, thank you for all you said, and thank you to all of you for all the work that you've done over the years, long before I even thought about energy in Connecticut.
Could
So
I
let
just
me go
ask if
ahead.
Jonathan Steinberg, could you mute? Oh, maybe you did already. Okay.
Yeah, I think you needed it. All right,
Thank
so
you.
I'm just going to share my screen. So we want to update some of the information that we have because we want to know which towns have clean energy task forces and which ones don't. And we want to, for ourselves, we want to be advocating for a clean energy task force in each town. And so collecting this kind of information, I think, can benefit all of us and our mission. So the idea is that maybe someday we will have an interactive map where you could just even click on the town and find out how to reach your person. You can find out, again, if the town doesn't have one. And so today we are going to show you the form, and what we'd like you to do is we'd like the folks on this call to designate one person from your group to complete the contact form, not during this call, but afterwards. And then that person can gather the contact information ahead of time and then visit the PACE website to complete the form. So I am going to stop sharing that. Can you see the PACE website now?
No,
No, I need to stop sharing.
you got to reshare.
I have to reshare. That's always my thing. All right, let me share again. All right.
While you're doing that, I'll just say, Michael Harris, we will answer your question. I don't want the blood to drain out of your arm. I can see your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am terrible with like the following
No.
the chats and questions. That is not my strong suit. Can you see it now, Bernie?
We can see it. You're on.
Okay. So this is a very, very basic page that I created. So we created up in the right-hand corner, you can see the blue tab. We create a little tab for the Connecticut Energy Network. So the December one has all of our information from the December program with the videos and the slide decks and all that. And this page will too, but for right now, all it has is this green button here with the connection to the energy form. So you'll click on that, and it's a really pretty simple form to go through, but we don't want multiple people from the same town to enter the same information over and over again. So we want to know, does your town have a paid person? And then we ask, what is the name of your group? I'm just putting in things. We want to know what kind of group it is. Is it a commission? Is it a task force? A nonprofit? Do you have a website? Type that in. And is the information posted on the site current, in need of update? Any panels that you have, things with the asterisks, as you know, need to be filled in. Other things don't have to be filled in, but any information that you could add would be helpful. If you have a secondary group like Wilton, the town of Wilton has a town group, and then they have a nonprofit group. So we have a place to add the secondary group. If you put no, it won't go through all of this. And then I don't think I have to answer any of those. Then you'll put your name, completing the form. And this is important. See where it says important? Group member contact info. So when you click submit, what will happen is there'll be this link. So you want to click the link, and it will allow you, it'll download this form. So on my computer, I see a little notification in the upper right-hand corner. This is not it, by the way, it's loading. There it is. Okay. And so you would then fill in, oh, can you not see this, Bernie, again?
No, I think it's.
Ah, darn. Let me share again. Sorry, people. Okay. So when you download it, you'll get this form. And so we'd like to have the information for the members of your group as much as you have and feel comfortable giving. But again, it's a really important thing to be able to contact each other and network each other and just strengthen that network. All right, so that was all I wanted to share on that. Just a quickie thing that everybody could do that would be really helpful in building the network. All right, Bernie, did you say we have questions?
Yeah, Michael Harris, if he's got, are you on, Michael?
Yeah, no, I had raised my hand way earlier. I don't have anything right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I was worried that the blood would rush out of his hand and
Oh, no. Are there any questions about anything? Oh, I think he's just trying it.
I'll make a reinforcing point on, we really, as Patrice noted, it's been a while since we really refreshed this group. We're really actively recruiting new members. So this form, which is easy as pie to fill in, please fill it in so we know that you're out there. It'll allow us, one, to know where the energy network is, and two, where we are not. And both of those things are important for us to know, because let's face it, world domination is our goal here. And I'm not even really kidding, but we're going to start with Connecticut. So please fill that form in. And I see, Kenny, you have your hand up.
At one point, and this is kind of a question for both Patrice and, Pace and all, we had a website for the network where we could.
Kenny, get closer to your microphone.
Can you hear me now? Wait a minute. Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, now we can. Yeah.
Sorry, that happened some on mine, but anyway, would this action right now that you're taking, could it be worked into having a network website where we would post some of the work we individually do in the task forces? That was a goal some time back. That might be an impertinent question, I don't know, but I know that's been a goal.
So a lot of the town task forces or groups don't have their own website pages. Would that be a correct statement? Or no?
I think that, Kenny, I think that came up really even on the handbooks. I forget who, it might have been Georgianne, or somebody suggested, can we start to record what everybody is doing? And I think the answer is yes. We don't have a definitive plan, but yeah, I think part of this whole thing is how do we collectively show to the world and to each other what it is that we're doing here.
Yeah. Need to toot our horns more. Definitely.
Don't hide your light under a bushel, to be
Right
brilliant.
on.
This light can stay on. All right. So Bernie is gonna quick. I know we're over time. I'm sorry
I
about
think
that.
we've got some people with hands. I think
more
Georgianne and
hands
then
raised.
Sabina.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Yeah, I think a network would be actually extremely useful when there's legislative items that we all want to act on. I know I get stuff from a couple of environmental groups saying, contact your legislators. And I think it'd be very helpful to have energy task forces weighing in collectively for certain pieces of legislation that'll be up before the state. So I think it'd be very useful for that. Thank you for the idea, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Georgianne, there's some commissions, like energy commissions, that are circumscribed by the very nature of their charter, that they cannot endorse certain legislative bills without the buy-in of town hall. So in that regard, the ad hoc types of committees are more limber and nimble rather than, a commission whose hands are often tied. But people can certainly weigh in on as individuals.
Hey, Sabina.
Sabina.
Yeah, this is a little bit aside from the conversation, but it is, it does have to do with the overall thrust of what you guys get together for. We're funding, I'm the president of a foundation that is funding Sustainable Connecticut and very enthusiastically funding the Community Match Fund. And one of the things that I've been trying to do is get the Community Match Fund to help with energy-related tasks that we're talking about here. But of course, they become very expensive, you know, to put solar on a school. But I would be interested, not right now perhaps because we're over time, but if anyone could get in touch with me about how we might be able to think about having communities and task forces and towns submit for matching funds from the Community Match Fund that really focus on energy and the energy efficiency and the renewable energy that we've been talking about. You know, we get a lot of submissions for pollinator gardens, and you know, I can't resist that either, but I think that we, you know, what you guys are talking about really is why we're what we get up every day to do. And funding Sustainable Connecticut has been a wonderful way to say, okay, not every town can start day one with energy efficiency or renewable energy, but you guys are going to get there. So we're very happy to be funding sort of a more general focus, which is what Sustainable Connecticut is. But in the end of the day, all we're really interested in is greenhouse gas emissions. So you guys seem to be up that alley. So if you could contact me, just use my Sabina.Shelby@gmail if you have any ideas, and I'll pass them on. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sabina. So let's all look at any activities that we're doing that promote clean energy. Maybe you've already gotten matching grants for them, or maybe they're good candidates. And Deb, let's take a look through some of the projects that did get grants in the sustainable CT sort of matching grant program, and maybe highlight them better than we've done so far. I know Branford is a good example, and there's probably others.
Mm-hmm.